everyone, it's Bethany. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to be doing even more Halloween crafts, so I'm super excited to share even more inspiration for this Halloween season. Be sure to check out my recent video where I did 7 crafts for Halloween, and in this video, we are going to do 6 or 7 more, I believe. So let's go ahead and get started. Be sure to give this a thumbs up if you're enjoying it, and also thank you so much for all my new subscribers. I am so excited to have you here, and I cannot wait to inspire you even more this fall. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our first craft. Okay, so as always, please ignore all the little paint on my craft mat. I need to get everything cleaned up, but I have been so busy crafting that I have neglected getting everything scrubbed just so. So anyway, let's go ahead and start with our first craft. So I am going to be making this cute little sign that I'm going to place near our candy bowl. So for the last couple years, we've actually set our candy bowl out, and then the little cute trick-or-treaters can just grab and go. So we are going to place a little sign by our candy bowl this year, and I found this at the Dollar Tree. It actually said, I want to say it said reception or something wedding related, but I went ahead and put quite a few coats of chalk paint on here, and I'll link my favorite chalk paint below. So I went ahead and just covered up what I didn't want, which was the original decor on there, and I'm going to repurpose this because it was $1, and I thought this would be super easy to repurpose for Halloween. If you want to see the candy bowl that I made last year, I will link that tutorial for you as well because it turned out so cute, and we are definitely going to be using that again this year. So I also found a really cute new font, and I'll link it down below as well. I want to say it's called Witchy, and it's a cute little Halloween themed font, but I used that to write out a treat for you, and the font is just so cute, and I have a feeling it's going to be on my list of favorites to use over and over again. So I'll link it again down below, that way you can take a look at it and see if it's something that you want to add to your font collection. But so far I'm thinking this is adorable. So I'm just going to go through and weed out all my little middles really quickly. And then because I am going to be placing this design on a painted surface, I'm going to opt to use my masking paper transfer tape, which just has a little bit less sticky than a traditional transfer tape. And so I do like to use this when I am working on a painted surface. That way when you go to remove the transfer tape, it doesn't disrupt the paint. Even though I painted this over a week ago, I still just want to make sure that I don't disrupt that paint. So now I'm just going to take my transfer tape and cover my design here, just like this. And then this is so easy. You can just rip it or cut it. I'm just going to go ahead and rip that. And then I'll trim whatever I don't use. Now, in a previous video, someone asked me about pressure when using the scraping tool. So I wanted to demonstrate that for you, just so if you have a question for that as well, it is probably a little easier to explain right in front of me. So when I am scraping down my vinyl, I scrape in one direction only, and I use fairly firm pressure. The reason I don't scrape back and forth is because if the vinyl is actually pretty delicate, and if you go back and forth really quickly, you can actually peel up your vinyl, if that makes sense, or you can snag it. I've done that before where my transfer tape has kind of crumpled up because I was doing it a little too quickly and back and forth. So I have just made a habit out of just going in one direction with really firm pressure, and then I turn mine over and I do the same on the back. So I go in one direction on the back as well with firm pressure. So I hope that helps if you are trying to get your workflow down as well when using the scraper tool. So now I'm just going to go slow and make sure all of my vinyl stays on my transfer tape while I remove that carrier sheet. Okay, good to go. And then I can just hover over my little sign here and get that where I'd like it. So I'm thinking right about there looks good. Okay, so now I'm going to be gentle because this is a Dollar Tree little piece of wood, so it's not, you know, thick and what am I trying to say? I'm all jumbled. I'm doing another really late night crafting, so it's been a long day. But what I'm trying to say is a little bit more delicate. It's thin, so I just want to make sure that I'm gentle with it. But I'm going to take my scraper and just scrape that down. Check out how cute this font is. It's adorable. Okay, and then peeling away again with that really nice transfer tape. It's not disrupting my paint at all. Oh, that looks really cute. So this is just going to set up. So now this little middle piece just comes out, and it's hard to see at the top-down camera, but it will just set like this. And of course, my little treat bowl will be where the arrow is pointing, so right over here. It's so cute, and I think that will look really, really nice and fun and festive for this year. So that is our first craft. I love how that turned out. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, for this next little craft, I am going to take this little repurposed piece of wood that I found at Hobby Lobby. Now, if you remember in my Hobby Lobby haul, I had found a little piece of decor in their clearance section. It was $2.49, and I really like shopping the clearance for a base piece to use. So it had a little nautical scene on it, and what I did was I simply took a few layers of chalk paint and just painted over it. And now it's a new piece that I can place a little vinyl design on, and it'll be all brand new to me. So whenever you are shopping clearance, be sure to take advantage of looking at little pieces that are already decor, but you can always paint over them and repurpose them because it's a really cheap way to find blanks. So I'm going to go ahead and weed out the design that I chose for this. Of course, we are doing some more Halloween decor for our home, and I thought this looked really, really neat. And let's see, this little stinker is sticking up here. There we go. Okay, so this just says October 31st or 31 October, and then it has a cute little spider design on it, which I thought was really, really cute and fun, just as a fun little piece of decor, maybe to place by the kitchen sink or wherever you'd like. But let's see if I can get this delicately taken off here. There we go. Okay, you guys know I hate spiders, but I thought this was really cute, so I'm just gonna go with it this year. I thought it was really fun. So I'm just gonna weed out my little middles up here because it's going to have a cute little web. I'll link this design down below in the description box as well. It's so, so cute, and this is actually a super affordable project because it just took a small piece of scrap vinyl and a piece of repurposed wood. So that's really, really nice and fun. Okay, so now I can take that piece of transfer tape that I had trimmed off the other piece, and I can use it in little sections on this piece. Again, I'm going to opt for the masking paper transfer tape because I'm going to be placing it on a painted surface, and might be falling a little bit short here, but I don't need to cover that one entirely. I think that will be just fine. Okay, so again, I'm just going to scrape that down on the front and back, and we will get it all peeled up and placed on our little sign here. Okay, so again, I like to keep my design pointed face down, and then I peel away that carrier sheet from the design, leaving the vinyl right on the transfer tape. Just going nice and slow, especially with that bottom section because that font is just so delicate. Now, of course, this is an SVG, so I will not be able to tell you the font that was used, but it just is so cute. Okay, so I'm just going to center that the best that I can. Of course, you could bring out a measuring tape should you want to be exact, but I do pretty well with my eye. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Okay, so I'm going to take my scraper tool once again. I love simple vinyl projects. They're just so fun to do. Plus, I love when you can find some scrap vinyl to use as well, because that made this little piece super, super affordable to do. Okay, here we go. That is so cute. There we go. And this little piece as well. So repurposing my transfer tape as well to make sure I keep this little craft on the cheap. There we go. How sweet and cute did that turn out? I love that. So this is a really, really fun idea for just when you're shopping at any craft store. If you find any type of little blank that is good for adding vinyl, so always remember that you can just add a little paint and repurpose it, and that way you can get everything all decorated for the next holiday season really affordably. Okay, let's move on to our next craft. Okay, so for this next craft, I am going to use some really pretty glitter HTV, and I believe this is called Galaxy, and I will try to link it down below, but it is so pretty. I love using this glitter HTV. I'm falling in love with glitter this season. You probably have noticed that by some of the videos on my channel, but I am falling more and more in love with glitter because I am not a loose glitter person. I have zero time for that mess, so we don't do loose glitter at our house. That is a hard and fast rule, but glitter HTV has stolen my heart. So I purchased this little dish towel in a 2-pack at the Target dollar spot, and I loved that. And you saw in my last video that I'm kind of doing a pink theme for Halloween, because I love when Halloween or any type of holiday can take on a non-traditional color. I think it's really fun. It just kind of makes it fun, because after a while, orange and black, I mean, it just kind of gets boring in my opinion after a while. But I loved this little peach color. I thought it was really, really fun, and it's just going to kind of bring a little bit of fun decor to our I think I'm going to put it in our little half bath. So I think that will be a really fun piece. So I'm going to go ahead and just place a little design onto this little dish towel just to spice it up a little bit, and I'll weed out my design here. And I'm trying to remember what I wrote. Oh, I had to remember what I wrote on this. So it says, "Oh, hey, boo." And I thought that would be so cute for a little ghost towel. I just thought it would be so cute. Okay, so then I'm just going to center this where I would like it on the dish towel, being mindful right here where my iron-on falls, just so that it doesn't look odd. I think it actually looks best right there. Okay, so I think that looks good to me. And now we can take it over to the heat press and get it all pressed. So I'm actually gonna have to take this off to preheat my material real quick, but then I'll just place it right back on and then press it. I guess I should take my little midnight snack out of the frame there. But I'm just keeping sweet, because sometimes you need a little sweetness when you're crafting so late at night. Okay, so I'm going to just place my towel on my press, focusing on where I'm going to do my design. So I just need to preheat that front part. And then I'm going to check my pressure here. I was doing something thicker last time, so I just need to change my pressure a bit. That way it's good to go for this project. So that is just about right. Okay, so now I can still see those lines, if that makes sense, from where it was folded. And now I can place my design back where I would like it. So I think right about there looks nice. Okay, I think that looks good. So now I can go ahead and press. So I'm going to be doing 320 for 15 seconds. Okay, lift that up. And now this is, I believe it was a warm peel. So I'm just gonna let that cool down just a little bit, and then we will peel up our carrier sheet. Okay, so I am just going to peel up my liner here. And I monitored to make sure everything was laying down, and everything looks great. Now, if you had any lifting, you would just place your little sheet right back over and add some additional heat, but mine looked good, so I am all good to go. Okay, so this is how it turned out. I'm just going to refold. And I think this is so cute. I love this peach color. I think it's fun. It's just going to add a really, really fun pop of color in our little bathroom. And then look at the glitter. How fun. I loved it. The towel was cute on its own, but I just like the little added design there. I think it just made it super, super fun. So always look in that little Target dollar spot. They always seem to have, I don't want to say always, because of course when I say that, then they probably won't do it as often as I believe they do. But they usually have fun little decorative dish towels for just almost every season. So I like to pick some up whenever I see them because they are just an affordable way to decorate. Plus I love just adding a little bit of HTV to them and just making them that much more cute. Okay, I'm gonna take a little chocolate chip break and then we're gonna craft again in our next craft. Okay, so for this craft, I am going to be making a long wood sign for our front porch. Now, I went ahead and got my Cricut Joy out and cut my design out. I have a tutorial on how to do long cuts with the Cricut Joy, but since I've done it so many times on my channel, I went ahead and pre-cut it. I will link that tutorial in case you are a beginner with long cuts with the Cricut Joy. That way you can watch a step-by-step guide to that. But the Cricut Joy is amazing for long projects like this. So let's go ahead and get started. I probably need to put my table down a little bit so we can see more of this long sign. Okay, so that's just about as much as I can get on camera, but you will get the drift. So here is my long sign. I believe it is 48 inches by 10 inches. This is actually the same sign that I used when I did the Oh Hello Spring sign back in the spring, but I decided to remove the vinyl from that project and repurpose this sign for Halloween. I like to do that sometimes with projects because it just keeps the crafting cost down, and after a while you just want something new with the piece of wood that you have. So I'm gonna grab my vinyl and get it weeded, and then you will see what the Halloween version of a long porch sign is going to look like. Okay, so I went ahead and trimmed off all the extras. So for this design, I had to use 2 rolls of the black smart vinyl because of the width. So the width was too big to put the whole design on one roll, which was actually kind of a stinker and kind of a bummer. But you know what? I'm repurposing this sign, so my costs were low anyway. So using 2 rolls of vinyl and to have to cut separately was really no biggie. Plus, if you wanted to, you could do them in 2 different colors. You'll see more in a minute once you see the design, but you could do 2 different colors. I decided to do just 1 color because I really wanted this to look really simple. You know, I'm all about simplicity, so I just wanted to do a nice black and white sign. I thought it would be really, really fun. And even though I'm doing the little splashes of pink around the house for Halloween this year, I did want to keep this porch sign a little bit more traditional, because if next year I don't want to do the pink theme, then my porch sign is pretty traditional for year in and year out. Okay, so this part says trick or, and then can you guess what the next part's gonna say? Okay, so trick or treat. I love how I just love the, and again, this is an SVG. I'll link it down below. So I won't be able to tell you fonts because this is a pre-made SVG, but I loved these, like this nice script look and then this block look together. I thought that was so pretty. And I like that it's pretty traditional looking, but also fun. Okay, so let me see which way. So the tree is gonna go over here. And then the trick or, I believe, goes like this. I believe so, but I will double check my SVG file. Okay, I believe that's what it looks like. And I will try to span it all in camera here, but there's only so much I can do. This is an oversized sign. Okay, so now I'm going to use the Cricut Joy transfer tape. Now, I am usually not a fan of Cricut transfer tape, and you know this about me, but when it comes to the Joy material, I definitely believe that the Joy vinyl needs to be paired with the Joy transfer tape. Okay, and the reason why I say that is because the Joy vinyl is thicker than traditional vinyl. So I feel like it definitely needs the grip of the Joy or the Joy transfer tape to accompany it, and it accompanies it very well. Okay, so I'm going to trim this down and make sure I can save some unused transfer tape here. Whoops, go in a straight line there, Beth. There we go. There we go. And then I am going to reuse this transfer tape for the second word as well. Okay, so when doing a long piece like this, I will show you how I like to do this. So I'm going to take my weeding tool just to get a piece of the transfer tape up off of that liner. Okay, so then what I do is I fold a little piece down. So usually I do about 1 inch. In this case, I pulled a little much, so it's about 2 inches there. And then I line that up and lay down just the 2 inches. Okay, so once that has laid down, I can take this little piece that's underneath. There's a little piece, and I can just start pulling. And as I pull, then it is going to lay down that transfer tape. I'll do it this way so you can see as I go. So I'm pulling underneath that little piece, and then it's just laying that transfer tape right over the vinyl there. And this just helps so that you're not exposing all of your transfer tape at once, because that can get really, really overwhelming. So this just takes it and allows you to go bit by bit. And if you do it differently, then that's awesome. But this is the way that makes me feel like I'm not going to be completely overwhelmed, because sometimes working with a lot of material can get overwhelming in a hurry, but maybe that's just me. Okay, so now I am a little short over here, so I'm just going to grab a little piece and stick it on the end. And because this is just a little piece, I just grabbed that and placed it all down at once. Okay. So we are good to go. Now when you do that, just overlap your transfer tape a little bit. That way it will connect itself, and then you essentially have one big piece. Okay, now again, going through with my scraper here and just really pressing down. And then I'm going to go through and do the same on the back side. So just flipping that over and the same. Just really scraping that down. Okay. So I will have this really pretty porch sign, and then I'll have my cute candy bowl from last year. And what else am I gonna have? Oh, I'll have that little arrow sign that's gonna go pointing towards the candy. And then I'll have that cute little arrow sign that I made in the previous video. If you guys missed that, then check out that video as well. And also thank you so much for all of the really, really kind comments on that video. It just really made me feel so nice to read all of your sweet comments. I just have the best little followers. Crafting friends. Okay, so now I'm going to, now I usually have to definitely accompany this with a weeding tool because it's just thicker. Now, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I actually do like the Joy vinyl. It is trickier to work with, but I really appreciate the thickness, especially for projects like this, because I just feel like it's a little bit more durable. That thickness adds a little bit of durability in my opinion, but sometimes getting it off of that carrier sheet can be a little bit trickier than traditional vinyl. I'll say it like that. So I just keep my weeding tool handy, practice my patience, enjoy chocolate chips, keep it lighthearted and fun. Okay, so there's the trick, and then Usually you just have to nudge just a little corner of it. And honestly, sometimes you have to do this with regular vinyl as well. So, come on. Okay, there we go. So now, I was saying earlier, but it's easier to see now, because you have to use 2 different pieces of vinyl anyway, because this is too thick to go through the joy widthwise, because you have to use 2 different ones anyway. You could make the trick or a different color than the treat if you would like. Again, I wanted to keep mine just a little bit more basic and traditional, or I guess not traditional, but simple. But you could definitely bring some color into this as well if you wanted to make them 2 separate colors. Okay, so now I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to pull tight on the ends just to make sure it doesn't fall down on me while I'm trying to center it and decide where I'd like it. That looks good to me. So I'm just going to lie that down. And I'm just going to go gentle with my hand there at first. I feel like, oh no, I did. It's fine. I thought I was going to get a bubble over here, but it was actually just playing a trick on my eye. Okay, so that is down. Okay, now I'll just take my scraper tool and really press down and add some more pressure. There we go. Easy peasy. Again, the joy makes really, really easy work out of these wood signs. Oh, you know, the Explorer 3, however, see, this Explorer 3 is so new to my craft table because I bought it right when I was expecting my baby, and so I played around with it for a little bit and then of course took 3 months off. So it's still brand new to me, even though everyone has been crafting with it all summer. But the Explorer 3 could do this all in one piece. So you could do that as well. Come on, Bethany. Oh well, that's all right. But now you know. Okay, so if you do have the Explorer 3 or the Maker 3 that can do the continuous cutting, then you can do this all in one piece and not have to lay it down twice. Okay, so pulling off my transfer tape. Now I'm going to be very careful and get this, keep this really nice because I want to reuse this transfer tape. And I'll use it for my little treat section as well. Now I don't have the luxury of laying that down in the same way as I did my first one, so I'm just going to be really, really careful here and then lay that down. Okay. All right. Ooh, got a little bubbly, but I think we are going to be just fine. Okay. And I need a little bit for my bottom area here, so I will just use a little scrap piece that I have and put it on the bottom. Okay, there we go. Add a little bit down here and I will scrape this down. Okay, and I'm just now removing my liner and leaving that vinyl on my transfer tape. So yes, always reuse your transfer tape, especially the Cricut transfer tape that stays really sticky for at least a couple projects. Most transfer tapes that I use actually really do well being reused. Sometimes the paper transfer tape doesn't as well, but it's also super, super affordable. So I tend to not feel guilty when I need to part with that after one use. It also depends on what you're using it for. So if you're using it on, I feel like when you use things on painted wood, I feel like the sticky goes away quicker, if that makes sense. Whereas if you're using it on glass or something that can't, you know, that doesn't pick up a residue, it lasts a little bit longer. Okay, now, oh, it wants to cling so much. Sorry, I don't want to get my midnight hair in the frame here, but I also want to get this straight. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I think I'm going to be happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to, instead of going through with my fingers, because this is a lot of vinyl, I want to go through with my scraper tool and really make sure I don't get any bubbles. Just because sometimes when you go through with your fingers, it doesn't have that sharp edge of a scraper that can really help with the vinyl. Okay, so now I scrape that down and we can peel up the transfer tape. So very gently so I don't scratch my paint, I'm just going to grab a little bit of that transfer tape with my weeding tool and then keep rubbing down. That looks really good. Now I don't seal my wood projects. You certainly can if you'd like. And one of the reasons is because I just don't. And another reason is because, I'm just going to keep it honest, I just don't. Another reason is because sometimes I like to reuse. So if I ever get sick of this and want to reuse it for something else, it's so easy to remove the vinyl and put new vinyl on. So even though this is permanent, it comes right up. So I'm also not too worried because usually I just put stuff like this out during the daytime. So it's not really weathering a lot, or it doesn't really need to weather the elements as much. But if you want to seal yours, by all means do so. Especially if you want to keep yours out all the time, or if yours is going to be, you know, in some harsh weather or anything like that. Okay, so hopefully you can see all of that. How cute! I really like that. I think it's going to be really, really fun. I think my porch will be really, really cute with the candy bowl and then the little candy arrow sign, this, and then there was another arrow sign that I made in the last video. And then, oh, the other thing I made was the wreath in the last video, the little door sign. So again, if you missed that, I'll link it for you so you can check it out because that was a really fun video as well. Okay, let's go ahead and craft with the next little idea. Okay, so for my next craft, I am going to decorate some pumpkins and I'm going to be doing a little button art on this. Now I did do this last year and I did our monogram and it was one of my most complimented decor items that I made last year. Not necessarily on YouTube, but around the house. Everyone just really, really loved it. And so I really wanted to do another little play on that this year, but I'm going to do a little trio of pumpkins that say boo. So I'm going to have a letter on each one. So I just picked these up from Michael's. I did a nice little curbside pickup and I will link these little pumpkins down below. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little piece of vinyl. I found some vinyl that I had accidentally ruined and it's hard to see on camera, but when I was first starting out, I would roll my vinyl and then place a little piece of Scotch tape on to the vinyl, and it's hard to see, but Scotch tape leaves a little bit of a residue. So if you do roll your vinyl, which I do, and I love to roll my vinyl, but if you want to secure it with something like washi tape or like a transfer tape, because then it won't leave a residue on your vinyl. So I'm saying this because if you have any vinyl that is marked up or doesn't look very nice anymore, this is a perfect project for you. So I've had this, I didn't want to throw it away, and I'm going to use it for this project because you'll see in a moment that it doesn't really matter how the vinyl looks, it is simply going to be a template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some transfer tape. I'm going to use that masking paper transfer tape once more, and I'll just stick my little vinyl piece right on there. And I'll trim off this extra so that the remainder can just stay on the roll. I think I might be done with this transfer tape for this series of crafts. Okay, so I'm going to scrape that down on the front and back, and then I'm going to place this on my pumpkin. Now, normally when doing vinyl on a curved surface, you would add some relief cuts around the edge so that it can lay down nice. But like I said, it does not matter how your vinyl looks for this project, and you will see in just a moment. So now I'm just deciding where I want this to go. I'm going to lay it right here. And then I just spelled out the word boo in design space. I use the font DTC Barn Acre. It's one of my favorites. It's just a cute little font. And it doesn't matter what font you use, whatever is fine for this. So I'm just gonna lay that down. And again, I am not worried about any creases or anything in my vinyl. It can look awful because I'm going to cover it with buttons next. So there is my vinyl. Now, you do want to use the same color vinyl as your buttons or something similar, because you'll see in a bit that even though we're going to be covering this with buttons, you want to make sure that you don't see the vinyl underneath. So because this is going to be black on black, if the vinyl peeks through on the bottom, it's not going to matter. Okay, so now I'm going to take that transfer tape roll again, and I'm going to just use it as a little base here. That way I can set my pumpkin up there. Now with your buttons, actually let me take this down so it focuses down here for a minute. With your buttons, you want to choose a pack of buttons that has multiple sizes. So I found these on Amazon. So it has a large size, a medium size, and a small size. So you want to do a variety pack of buttons, if that makes sense. So don't just choose one size. Of course, it's doable with one size, but I feel like it looks better when you have a variety of sizes. And for this project in particular, I'm going to be using the medium and the small. Last year when I did our monogram pumpkin, I used an orange pack, and it was really, really pretty. And that had a nice variation in color too. Okay, so back here with our little bee. Okay, then I'm going to take my hot glue, and I'm just going to add some hot glue on my little bee here. Okay, so then I'll just start taking some buttons, and I will just begin layering that first layer down. So let's get this little guy going. And I almost think that I might do, I'm trying to decide if I want to do 2 different sizes. I'll show you for my other 2 pumpkins what I did. It's really just about personal preference for this part, so do however you would like to do it. But we're just going to get, for this first layer, the only thing we're worrying about is covering the vinyl. Okay. I have some glue there. And you want to work fairly quickly because obviously with hot glue, you are on a little bit of a time crunch so that it doesn't dry. So go quick, go quick, go quick. And those laid down there. Cute, cute. Kind of thinking I probably will favor towards the smaller ones for the bee. Okay. That looks good. Okay, and just covering up the vinyl with that first layer there. Super cute. This is so easy. So turn on your favorite show and just craft away. Okay, so now that is the first layer. So don't stop there, because the second layer is where things get pretty, and it looks so intentional when you start layering. So right now it kind of looks a little messy, but when you do the second layer, everything starts to take shape. So now what I do is I go through and I add a little dab of glue right in that little crease area where the buttons meet. And then this is where I take the smaller of my buttons and I add one right on top to layer it. That not only is going to cover the vinyl, but it's also going to just help the letter take more of its shape, and it makes it that much prettier when you layer it. So take my word for it. I have done so many button crafts, and the layering is where it's at. That's when it really comes to life. So just adding my glue, and then I don't worry about all of the little glue strings until the very end. So they kind of become a little hot mess for a bit, and then at the end I get them all cleaned up. There we go. Super cute. I was thinking of actually placing all three on separate little candlesticks. I thought that would be so pretty for like the middle of our table as just a cute little decor piece. Okay, so there is our little bee. So cute, and let me show you the other two so you can see how it all turned out. Okay, so here are how all three of them look together. I think they're really fun and cute. Again, I'm going to put them on some really chunky wooden candlesticks that I have, so they will sit in the middle of our dining room table. I think that will be really, really fun, but I like how they turned out. I think they're really cute. I think the kind of jaggedness of the buttons kind of makes it look a little spooky in a way, so I really like how these turned out, and it's just a very quick and easy fun little project, and you can use any color of button that you would like to make this any way that you would like. But anyway, I thought I would share this fun idea because I love button art, and I think this turned out really, really fun. Okay, let's go ahead and get back to another craft. Okay, for this next little project, we are going to do a little chalkboard sign. Now, I have had this chalkboard sign in my little craft stash forever. It is from the Target dollar spot, but of course, you know, they do the $1, $3, or $5 items. So this was a $5 item. So since this has been in my stash forever, I am going to wipe it down. Even if it was brand new, I would wipe it down because it just removes all of the dust and oils that could be on the surface, which will help when laying down your vinyl if it's nice and clean. So I'm just gonna make sure that that is nice and clean and ready to go. Again, this has been in my stash forever. Okay, so I'm happy that I have a little purpose for it now. So I'll let that dry, which takes zero time at all. And then while that is drying, stay there, I will place my design on some transfer tape. So I'll link this design down below. I thought it was so cute and would look really cute on a little chalkboard. Okay, so I am going to be using my favorite clear grid line transfer tape for this project, and I'm going to just place my design. Let's see, which way do I want to do this? I'm going to do it down here. I'm going to place it as straight as I can on those grid lines, because the straighter I get that, the easier it's going to be to place it really straight on my chalkboard here. Okay, so then I can just trim off right here. And then I'll also trim off this extra bit up here. In fact, I'll trim off a little bit more than extra. That way I can line up my design. Okay, there we go. And then I'll keep this, don't worry, I'm gonna keep this nice clean transfer tape off to the side so I can reuse it for another project. Okay, now let's grab the scraper, and you'll see the design in just a moment. I went ahead and pre-weeded it because it was white on white, and that doesn't do you any good to watch me do that. Okay, turn this over. So this says, "Welcome to our web." It's so cute. And it's just now occurring to me, I am terrified of spiders, you guys. Terrified. But it's just now occurring to me that I've done 2 or 3 spider projects this year. I'm not sure what's going on with me, but they're just really cute. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure. Okay, so Now I'm just going to take that transfer tape off. Being careful, this does have some thin pieces because it's got some web pieces. But I feel like this is a really cutesy kind of spider design. And I really like the little play on words. Welcome to our web. How cute is that? Okay. You know what I'll do is I'll put this on here so you can see the contrast a little bit better. Okay. Let's do that again. Okay. My husband the other day told me that he saw a spider in our basement, like a big one. So, the other day also, the story continues. The other day also, I was planting my mums and having a really great time and chatting with my husband, and all of a sudden he was very quickly said, hold on, and there was apparently a very large spider crawling up the back of my jeans. So needless to say, I just about put our house up for sale. I was just, I can't with spiders. I can't. So pest control was out the following day. Literally the following day we called because neither one of us, we don't like spiders. So our little hero pest control guy came, and hopefully now I'm kind of looking around my craft room because I don't like them. But okay, so this is why it's so weird that I'm making these little spider web things. But I thought this was cute, and honestly, the font sold me. The font sold me. I thought it was really fun. Okay, so I'm just trimming around my transfer tape. And I'm a little chatty because this is kind of my only time to like socialize lately. I like chatting with you all, and you guys have been so sweet in the comments lately. I'm so happy you're enjoying my videos lately. So if I get chatty, it's just because this is so much fun. Chatting and crafting. Okay, so I like to trim down my transfer tape as much as I can because it's going to help with this part. Let me grab the parchment paper. You guys are probably thinking, grab the parchment paper, because I've made a lot of you fall in love with it, and this is going to be so helpful. You could also approach this with the hinge method as well, but with larger designs, you can take some parchment paper, lay your design on, most of your design on the parchment paper with a little bit of it falling off, just like so. And then you can center your design where you'd like it. Okay, centering your design where you would like it without committing, because your vinyl is falling on to the parchment paper and not on your final product. So I'm just trimming a little bit because, as you can see, this is something that's going to snug up really close to the edge of your frame. So I just want to make sure that I have a pretty straight line there. Okay, that'll help me quite a bit. So that looks pretty good to me. Once you have it kind of lined up where you would like, you can stick down the exposed area on the chalkboard or whichever project you are laying it down on. Okay, so you're going to stick down that part. Then peeling up, you'll remove your parchment paper, and then you can gently lay down the rest. Okay, did I do it right? I think I did. Looks pretty good. Might have gotten a little close up here. Oh no, I did good. I did good. Oh, I did really good, I think. Yay. Okay. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Okay, so now going back through with my scraper, I'm just going to press down. Oh, I'm happy with that. I can't wait to peel this up and reveal it. Okay. Now, I'm going to just very gently, because the weeding tool can scratch your surfaces, so be careful when you do that, but it's also very effective when peeling up your transfer tape. And if you have any pieces that want to come up, then just press them down with your finger or your scraper. But I'm just going to peel this away. And look how cute. I thought this was cute. Welcome to our web. I mean, that's just adorable. I like any type of play on words that's, you know, family related. I think that's really cute. Okay. The only spider I like is the cute little spider from Charlotte's Web, because that is just the cutest book and movie ever. So we'll just pretend that it's that little cute spider. Okay. There we go. There's a little tiny piece in the corner that needs to stay. So there we go. And then I can reuse this transfer tape. So I'll set this to the side. Look! Oh, that's cute. That is so fun. And I did a removable vinyl on this. So in case, you know, down the road, I don't want to have this anymore, or I want to redecorate it or repurpose it, then I can easily remove the vinyl and do something different with it. But how sweet. I really like that. And I really liked the little webs on the little letters. I wonder if this may be the same font, the witchy font that I purchased. Maybe, I'm not sure, maybe not. But again, it's a whole SVG, so I wouldn't be able to tell you the font, but how sweet is this? Okay, so Babs is feeling a little left out and lonely for our craft night. If you don't know who Babs is my new embroidery machine. So it would not be a Bethadilly tutorial without creating some fun apparel. So look at this cute, adorable, let me try to get all in camera here. Look at this cute, adorable little dress. How cute is this, and how Halloweenish does this look? So I found this at Target, and I thought it would be so cute to put a little pink ghost on the front. And so we're gonna do that. Now, this is a ribbed shirt, so I don't know if I can embroider on a ribbed shirt, but I am willing to try out anything, because when I'm learning something new, I like to just try it out for myself. So we'll see. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then we'll know. But I like to try and see if things work, and so I'm going to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add more stabilizer to see if I can pull this off. And it's just for my little one, so if she only gets one wear out of it for, you know, a little Halloween day, then that's all that matters. So I am going to just give this a try, and the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to put a layer of poly mesh right on the back. Now this is a cutaway. This is a fusible too, so I'm just going to iron this on. And because this is a ribbed shirt, I was careful not to stretch it or anything before laying it down. But I just like to try out and see if things work, and then that way you know if it works or not. So just give it a little try. Okay, so that layer is down. Now, usually I only do, so far I have found that just one layer of the tearaway is enough, but I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 layers for this. So I'm just going to trim down 2 layers of this tearaway, and then iron this on as well. And I'll link the stabilizers that I'm using in the description box below. Okay. I've been having so much fun stitching lately. So I just had to end the video with a fun little stitch out. Okay, so making sure, because it's now 11:50 p.m. so I'm just making sure I put that on the right side of the shirt, because it would be just like me this late to do that. Okay, let's iron down this next layer of stabilizer. And again, I'm going to do 2 layers of this stabilizer just to really stabilize the fabric, since it's not a traditional fabric that I would use for applique. Okay, do another layer and we should be good to go. Okay, so that is all ironed out. So now I am going to place this right side out once more. Okay, and now that it's right side out, I am going to put my little ghost on the front. So I just printed out my ghost. Now I got this file. This is a PES file, and I purchased this from Creative Appliques. And this is the 5x7 design. The 4x4, I printed that out as well, and it was just way too small. So I kind of thought this was a little big, but this was too small. So I like this one better. I think visually, especially because it's a long dress, I think it'll be okay. So I'm just gonna place that probably about an inch from the collar. And then I have this new tape. You can also pin it, but honestly, I have found the tape to be just a little bit easier, but I'm just gonna secure this. Oh, actually, let me make sure that that is right in the center of my shirt. So let's double check here, make sure. Place this over here. So one nice thing about these little grids is that it shows you the little crosshairs of where the center is. So I can just go from the center to the side. That's about 5 3/4. And that is about, oh my goodness, perfect. Okay, don't move, don't move. It's perfect. Right there and right there. Okay, how cute do you look? Let's get this hooped and on the machine. Okay, so I am going to be using my Mighty Hoop, and I honestly think this is one of my best purchases for my machine. The hoops that came with the machine are fine, but the Mighty Hoop is beyond amazing. Okay, so I'm just going to take the inside of the hoop and I'm going to place it inside of the shirt here. Now, they have very strong magnets, so you want to be very careful. So I'm just opening this up, sliding the inside of the hoop into the shirt. Okay. I think the Mighty Hoops make shirts so easy. And making sure that doesn't snag on my stabilizer there. And I'm also making sure that that does not come close to my design. Now I will trace it on my machine to make sure, since this is not a hoop that has come with my machine. Whenever you use a hoop that is that did not come with your machine, you should always trace. Okay, so now I will grab the top and I will go ahead and it will hoop itself. I'm at a loss for words, it's getting late. Okay, so it's all hooped and now we can take it over to the machine. Okay, so I'm just gonna place this onto my machine. Now you see the opening right here where the neck of the shirt is. I'm going to make sure that that goes right here in this middle section. So I'm gonna place that in between. That way I don't stitch the back of my shirt. So let's go ahead and place this on the machine and then we will prep our applique fabric. So I also have my USB already loaded here. So I am going to find my design and I'm going to center everything here. So let me go to my USB and let's find the ghost. Perfect. And then I will say set and embroidery. And then you will see there is a little laser right here. And I am going to just move the arrows on my screen so that my laser goes right into the center of those crosshairs that are on my design. Okay. And I'm just perfecting that. That looks good to me. So once I have it all set, what I can do is I can take off my design, and I can also save this tape and reuse it. And then let's go ahead and prep the fabric with our heat and bond light, and then we will start stitching. Okay, so bringing my little design back over here, one of the great things about using a printout, not only to help center your design on whatever your embroidering is, but you also can use it to see how much fabric you are going to need instead of guessing. So I'm just going to open up my fabric, and let's just use a piece over here. So you're gonna wanna cut a piece just a little bit bigger. There we go. Let me grab my fabric scissors. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and cut a piece here. Okay, that looks good. Trim this little piece off. Bloop. Okay, now what I can do is I'll take my heat and bond light, and what you want to do is you want to turn it over to the back of your fabric. And you want to cut a piece of heat and bond light that is just a little bit smaller. So that's almost a little too small. I'm almost to the end of my little pack here. So I'll go on this side. And you want to cut it a little bit smaller than your fabric because you don't want to iron your heat and bond light onto your ironing board, because then it would just be a sticky mess. So just cut it a little bit smaller. You'll see in just a moment. That's about good. Okay, perfect. And then there is a shiny side to the heat and bond light, and that is the adhesive. So you want to place the shiny side down onto the back side of your fabric. Then you just take your iron that on. Okay, and then I like to let it cool before I peel off the liner. That way my fabric doesn't roll up. And then while that's cooling, I'm going to just place my thread. So I just kind of color matched a thread that I liked to coordinate. I'm going to place this on my machine so that it's all ready to go. Okay, so my machine is threaded. I will go ahead and just remove this sheet, and you'll see that the back of the fabric is shiny, so that's the heat and bond light. So this is all ready to go for when it is time. So now we're gonna go ahead and go to the machine, and I am going to do the placement stitch. Now the placement stitch is simply going to be an outline of our design so that we know where to place the fabric. Okay, so we're gonna do the placement stitch. So we're just gonna do lock and start. Oh, before we do that, I am going to trace. So let me do a trace, and this is just going to make sure that I'm going to watch my little laser and make sure it doesn't come near the edge of my hoop. And again, I'm doing this because I'm using a hoop that did not come with my machine. Okay, so that looks good. I'm just going to double check that the bottom of my shirt is not going to stitch the front. Okay, that feels good. Okay, so now I can say lock start, and it will do my placement stitch. Okay, so now that it has done the placement stitch, I can see the stitch and where I need to place my fabric. So I'm just going to place my fabric over that, and there we go. Now I can say lock start, and now it's going to do the tack down stitch, and that is just going to essentially tack down the fabric to our shirt. so now I'm going to go ahead and trim off the rest of my fabric. Okay, so it's easier to see here. Now you will see where the tack down stitch has secured the fabric to our shirt. So now I can take my applique scissors. Now there are so many different types of applique scissors. So I really like the little small scissors, and they are curved. So you can see right there that they are curved. That way you don't cut into your shirt. Some people like the duckbill scissors. I personally am really liking these so far. I probably will pick up a pair of duckbill scissors just to try them out. But so far I really, really like these. I kind of think whatever you learn on is kind of your preference. So far this rib shirt's not doing too bad. Okay, so now I'm just trimming, being careful not to cut my shirt or any of the stitches, but I'm trimming all that extra fabric off. Now I can keep this as well, because there are many times when you will just need just a teeny tiny bit. Oh, I thought I cut my shirt. I didn't though. There are many times where you'll just need a teeny tiny bit of fabric, especially with applique. So keep your little scraps. And let me just turn this. Oh my gosh, it's looking cute already. How cute, cute. Okay, trim, trim, trim. And I, for some reason, find the trimming to be so relaxing. I'm not sure if it's like the sound of the fabric or what, but I know that sounds so weird, but I find this part to be really gratifying. Okay, and just turn my hoop. You kind of get in your your mode of how you like to trim. And okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to iron down our Heat and Bond light before we do the satin stitch. Now the reason is because that satin stitch can be really thick, so it's easier to iron down that Heat and Bond light before you do that. Okay, so I'll keep this fabric. How cute is this? Cutie pie. Okay, and I like to just use a piece of parchment paper just to protect my thread. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I personally do. I also have been using the Bro thread, and I heard it's recommended that you just kind of put a barrier, protective barrier between your heat source and the thread. My machine is really liking the Bro thread. Is that what it's called? I can't remember. I'll link it down below. Okay, so I have ironed that on, and now I'm going to return this to the machine, and it's going to do the satin stitch around the cute little ghost. Okay, making sure to place the the back of my shirt underneath the arm. There we go. And then I like to double check that the back of the shirt is not going to be stitched. So it looks good, feels good. And now I can do lock start. I already have the same color loaded, so it's all good. And this says it'll be about 7 minutes to stitch out. Is that right? I think so. Okay, now I am simply going to change my thread and we will stitch out the eyes and the mouth, and this will be all done. Okay, it's all done, which is the favorite part in my house. Everybody loves that little chime at the end. The kids just go nuts. It's just so fun. Okay, so let's clean up the shirt. Okay, so here we go. How cute. So you know what? I am happy with this. We'll have to see how it does in the wash, but like I said, if it gets even a wash, because honestly, Halloween shirts, they don't wear them all year anyway, so I'm not too concerned about it. And we'll see how it turns out. But right now, it looks really, really good. I am really happy with it. So I'm gonna take this and put it inside out again and just clean up the inside. I have my heat press heating back up so that I can put the tender touch on the back. Now I have to admit, well, let me do this first. I'm gonna do the 2 layers of tearaway. Okay. And then that actually worked out really good. Okay, so the 1 layer of the poly mesh, which is the cutaway, and then the 2 layers of tearaway did amazing. So I like to take as much as I can out. That way it's nice and soft underneath and it's not so bulky. That looks so good. I'm so happy with this. Okay, so that's all done. And now I just pull, and then this is cutaway. So I will trim around this. So let me use these scissors. Now, for this part, you want to make sure you don't cut your shirt. So be really careful. I like hold it up so that I can see through the stabilizer. That way I don't cut into my shirt, because that would be so sad after you did all of that hard work. Okay. How cute is this? I love it. I love the polka dot on polka dot. Okay, so what I was gonna say is, I will be honest with you, I do not like tender touch. I'm having a very, very hard time getting my tender touch to stay. I am pressing it. I'm pressing it on my heat press, and it's just not staying. It's coming off after 1 wash, and I'm finding it really annoying. So this is actually pretty soft and not too bulky of a design, but I'll go ahead and just put some tender touch on the back, just to say I did. But tender touch is just a really nice soft background, or background, and it just helps hide the stitches so that it's not too itchy for the little ones to wear. So I will iron that on, and you can clean up your little stitches if you'd like. Might trim it just a little bit, and that way they don't show through the shirt. Okay, now someone also said, which I've been doing, to trim and make the edges round, because that helps with keeping the tender touch on. But I'll tell you what, it's not making a bit of difference for me, but I'll do it. So I say all this because not only just to be honest, but also if you have an off-brand Tender Touch that you like, please leave it in the comments because I'm really interested in trying something different. Okay, so back at my heat press, I'm just going to place this on here, and then I'm going to press this at 270 for 15 seconds. Okay, there we go. And it is pressed on. Okay, so now the Tender Touch is pressed onto the back. I'm going to place that right side out one more time. And there we go. So now it's all done. That's actually nice and pressed from the heat press, so we are good to go. How cute did this turn out? Okay, so far I'm super impressed. It worked really well. Again, I'd have to see how it does in the wash, but I think it's gonna be so cute. I love this. I think it'll be so fun for just a little Halloween outfit, and I love how this turned out. So here we go. The only thing is you can see, obviously, the polka dot through the polka dot, but I still think it's really cute. All right, thumbs up. Okay, so I was just gonna turn off the lights and go to sleep, but then I just had to do this last craft. I just had to. So I have had this patterned HTV forever, and I cannot let Halloween go by without using this because I just don't feel like it would work for any other holiday than Halloween. I mean, you could totally disagree, but for me, it just screams Halloween. And so I feel like I just have to do this last craft, and late night Beth is not making a good choice because early morning Beth tomorrow is going to be so tired. We are pushing 1 a.m., but we have to do this. So I went into Design Space really quickly and I cut out some bats. Ooh, so what I did, look at this cute little bat, cute. Okay, so I have to save this because I can use that. So I did an offset, and then I sliced my offset out of each other. So I'll show you in a second why I did that. But if you need a tutorial on offset, I have a very popular one that everyone really enjoyed this year. It's still going crazy. Ooh, I wasted a little bit there. Whoops. It's still going crazy, but what I did was I did an offset on these little bats that I found in Design Space. And the reason I did that was because I want to place one inside of the other. So I'm going to make a little pillowcase. And I originally was just going to use this pattern on this pillowcase. This is just a Cricut pillowcase, okay? But I thought that these would just kind of get lost on the pillowcase. I didn't really think that I thought the shape would get lost. So I wanted to have an offset with some glitter that could go around it just to give it some shape. That way we know it's a bat, and I hope that makes sense, but sometimes, ooh, I'm gonna keep these though. I'm gonna try not to puncture them. So I'm gonna do it with my fingers because we can use these little bats. How cute are they? So I did the offset in the glitter, and then the inside in this really pretty patterned HTV. So I've had this forever, so I'm wasting a little bit here, but I'm actually okay with it because I really need to use this HTV. I've had it forever. Okay, and then I ran out of the black glitter, so I have this other kind of almost lavender. I thought it was really pretty. I don't remember the name, or where I got it. So sorry, that's really unhelpful, but sometimes it's really hard to remember each and every thing in my stash. Look how cute. Oh my gosh, how pretty. I told you I am falling in love with glitter. Just glitter HTV, not loose glitter. Let's not get crazy. Okay, so let me trim all these pieces apart. I thought it would be really cute to have some patterned bats going up this pillowcase. So I'm just going to trim all these little pieces apart, and then we'll place them on our pillow here. And I have the press all heated because I had to do that tender touch. So I thought, what is one more craft? Although I think that early morning Beth is not gonna agree with me. But you know what? Let's just hope this turns out and is well worth it. So I'm just gonna trim these little pieces apart. And let's get everything placed. Okay, so I did some in a variety of sizes. Again, I took the bat, I took this in Design Space, then I created an offset, then I sliced my offset out. So that way both pieces are going to stick onto the pillowcase. And I want to do that because I don't like to layer my HTV on top of HTV. It's just personal preference. If you do, then that's totally fine. But I like all of my pieces to touch the fabric. To me, it just makes sense. It makes sense that it would last longer. So let me preheat my fabric real quick, and then I'll bring this back over here so we can get everything placed. Okay, so I preheated that. And you just want to preheat to make sure there's no moisture or anything in your shirt. So now I'm just going to go through, and I'm going to do my offset first, which is just in this glitter. And I'm just going to go through and place the pieces where I want them. So I kind of want these bats to just kind of be flying up. Maybe I'll do these together. Flying up the little pillowcase. And the best thing about this is that the iron-on backer, now this pattern iron-on does not have a sticky backer like the glitter, but the glitter has a sticky back. So once you stick it on there, it stays. So you can kind of place and replace. Nothing's permanent until you press. So I'm just gonna kind of play around with this a little bit and see where I want everything to go. Okay, I think I like this. So now I'm going to take it over to my press, and I am going to press the glitter first. So let's go ahead and do that. So now I'll have to do it in 2 separate sections just because of the size of my press. So it looks like I can do the first just about 3. So I'll go ahead and do that. Let's see, adjusting my pressure. There we go. Okay. Now, what I'll do is I will just move my pillowcase up and do the second part. Okay, just like that. Okay. So I'm bringing it back over here just to cool it down. When you place it on a cool surface, then it really draws out that heat quicker. That way we can peel off the first layer. So cute. Oh my goodness. I wish I knew the color to share. I'm sorry. I'm also sorry for myself because now I want to reorder. I need to make some shirts with this color. That is so pretty. Okay, now we can go back through and place the insides in there. In fact, I might do this over on the press because like I said, this isn't sticky. So I'm actually gonna use, I'll use some heat resistant tape. And that's what I'll do because that's not gonna stick there and I don't want it to shift because I really want that to stay perfect there. Okay, so if you do use tape when doing your pressing, make sure it is a heat resistant tape. Actually, I could use a lot less. That way I don't waste it. Okay, just making sure that fits everywhere in there and tape it down. Okay, that looks good. And then I'll just go through and place all of my, oops, that one doesn't fit. Wait, does that fit? No. This one matches. It's all a little puzzle piece. Oh, that's gonna be cute. So do you see how the outline just really defines the pattern there? I think that that's a good idea. Just so it really defines the shape and the outline to have a solid around it. Oopsie. There we go. This will be cute. Just really cute and simple decor. And honestly, I've had this patterned iron-on forever because it came in a, I'll try to link it in case you fall in love with it. It came in a variety pack, if you will. So sometimes, you know, you buy a pack of HTV or vinyl, whatever it may be, for one of the patterns, and then sometimes you like all the patterns and sometimes you don't. And in this one, I wanted to like it, but I just didn't know what to use it for. And honestly, it screams like Halloween lace to me. So I think this is kind of like an elegant spin on Halloween, which I think it's just kind of fun. So that's what we're gonna do. Oh, cute. This reminds me of kind of applique too, because it looks like pretty fabric with a nice satin stitch around it. Okay, so let's go back over to the press and press the, I was gonna say the fabric, but it's not. Press the patterned iron-on on. Having to be careful there, so I might need to reposition some of them just to make sure. Nope, that's good. They stayed put. Okay, so let's do the first 3. Ooh, it's gonna actually do kind of the first 4. Let's just put this down so that it doesn't, I want to just do the first 3. Okay, there we go. Here we are. So with the first 3, the liner covered the exposed HTV, but with these 2, I see a little bit of exposed HTV, so I'm just going to put a little piece of parchment paper over that. That way I just protect it. Okay, there we go. Let's let this cool off and we will reveal it. Okay, so letting this cool off on that cool surface, and in the meantime I will clean up my mess. Ooh, I want to keep these cute little bats. Okay, so luckily my zipper is at the bottom here. It wouldn't have been a deal breaker, but I like the zipper closure to be at the bottom of a pillowcase. Again, not a deal breaker, but it's kind of nice to have that and best to have it at the bottom. I didn't check, but my little crafting guardian angel was looking out for me. So now I'm just gonna peel off my liners for my patterned iron-on. I am in love with this. So pretty. Everything laid down perfectly. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I did that at 320 for 30 seconds. I did both layers at 320 for 30 seconds. How cute did that turn out? I love it. It looks like they're just gonna fly up the pillowcase. So that'll be really, really fun Halloween decor. I love it. And then I love it also because pillowcases are really fun decor because then you can just take the pillow out and then fold this up, put it in your decor box, and it's really nice and small to pack away. Oh my goodness. that was a busy late night crafting. I am in love with everything that came out tonight. I think that the applique is my favorite by far, just because it's just so cute. And I love this little wood sign. This will be really fun. We have a couple little spider things. I surprised myself, but I really like how they turned out. So I love this little chalkboard sign. Again, removable vinyl in case I don't want to use this next year. I love the little button pumpkins. They are so cute. And then this little treat sign that I will put by our candy bowl this year. Our little surprise pillowcase at the end, which turned out really, really fun. I love that. And then the dish towel and the front door porch sign. So let me know what was your favorite. I really enjoyed doing this. I really need to sign off and go to sleep because tomorrow's gonna be a very sleepy day at this point, but hopefully I can just spiffy up my craft room real quick before I do so. So let me know which one was your favorite, and I will see you all in the next video.